As we said, Arnold Schwarzenegger compared the events on January 6th to Kristallnacht in Nazi Germany. He did it because he can get away with it, because people don't know what it means, and the press certainly isn't going to call him out. There's no fact checkers on this. So I will be your fact checker. And you tell me if any of this sounds even remotely like what happened on January 6th. And more importantly, if it is even close, his distortion, to the truth that Gina Carano said. She spoke truth and it was deemed offensive. He is like way out in left field, spreading lies and making disgusting comparisons. So you tell me. I'll go over because most people don't know what it was. Basically on November 9th through the 10th in 1938, the Nazi regime, so the government regime actually coordinated an anti-Semitic wave of violence against the Jewish populace. They burned 267 synagogues. They vandalized over 7,000 Jewish-owned businesses, shattering the glass in the storefront. So that's how you got the name Kristallnacht. The broken glass all over the streets was like broken crystal with the moonlight and all that. So that's where you get the name. I guess that's the only parallel, is that they did break a couple windows in the Capitol, but I don't see much of a comparison so far. I don't know about you. So the police and the fire departments completely stood down, did nothing to stop the attacks. Hundreds of Jews died during these attacks. Sounds, if anything, like we experienced this year. I would say it's the riots we saw all year long in 2020. About 30,000 German Jews were arrested for no crime and taken to the concentration camps in Dachau and Buchenwald. So early reports said about 91 Jews were killed during this event. And then if you go by the mistreatment, malnourishment, and all the things that happened afterwards, the numbers are actually much higher. And it's estimated that there were actually 638 suicides as a result of these events. The events of Kristallnacht were the prelude to the final solution of murdering 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. And what caused all this thing is a 17-year-old kid pictured here named Herschel Grinspan, who shot a German diplomat, Ernst von Rath, in Paris, France. They were both living in France. What was alleged at the time is that the shooting was because Grinspan was upset that the Nazis had expelled his family, his parents, out of Germany. Historian Hans-Jürgen Doscher says the shooting was actually probably a lover's spat because the two were intimate and they met at a place called Le Boeuf sur le Tweed, which was a popular meeting place for gay men at the time. Goebbels, one of the supervillains of history, he used this event to instigate Kristallnacht. Normally, I would say this constant accusation where you compare things to Nazi Germany is usually pretty idiotic, and it's done by people whose only knowledge of history extends to having watched Indiana Jones movies. That said, what is the point of never forget if we don't extend that to ensure that it never again happens? Sometimes there actually are parallels in history. Now, instead of making stupid false accusations just to score political points, it behooves us to actually analyze history, which always repeats itself, to recognize where we are and where we might be going. So, is there any parallel to what happened on January 6th, and far more importantly, what happened after January 6th as a result of it? Absolutely. And the parallels that are clear are not Kristallnacht, but are the Reichstag fire. And I'm sure none of us know anything about it.